Final Fantasy VII Remake revealed some new details as well as its box art. Let's talk about all of that on this JRPG report. Plenty was revealed about Final Fantasy VII Remake at the Tokyo Game Show, but Square Enix dropped a data mine of information today, and let's just talk a little bit more about what we learned. Of course, we already know so much about this game, so all these little details are just kind of adding further to the mystery and just awesome overflowing excitement for this title. One of the things we've known about for a while is that it appears that equipped material will show up on your weapons. We saw that with Cloud's Buster Sword, and it's even on the new cover of the game, which it just looks awesome, by the way. We're very impressed by that. But we've also been wondering, is that going to also show up on armor as well? We know that we will see different actual weapons equipped because we've seen Cloud's rune blade as well as his Buster Sword, so that's a cool detail as well. But one of the things I saw in these new images, and I haven't seen it before, so if you take a look at this image of Tifa, she is right there ready to strike. Look closely at her right hand. Now, I'm not sure if this is her glove or the bangle. I think it's a bangle, and it'll show two materia equipped to it. And that is a detail that I've not noticed before, especially if that is armor. We obviously know that that's how materia works from the original, but I haven't seen a screenshot with that yet. That's a pretty cool detail. We see this in another part as well with Aerith, and this is actually showing off the new time spells that haven't been really seen too much before, but this is haste. Or actually, that's Sloga, I'm sorry. So we see Slow in action, but if you take a look at her staff very closely, you can see kind of on the left side of the staff there is one materia equipped. On the right side there is an open slot. So I'm not sure how that's going to work as we get later onto the game, as you've got more weapons and equipment that have, was it up to 6 or 7 slots at certain times. So we'll have to wait and see how that works, but it's a really cool detail that I'm very happy to see implemented so far. One cool new thing we can see here in the menu, we have elemental materia, and this is going to be Blizzard, and this will be added to Cloud's Buster Sword. It says adds the element of the linked material to your equipment. The weapon adds 2% linked elemental damage. Armor would have elemental linked damage, and we can actually see that in action in this new screenshot. So you can see Cloud going to town on this poor guy, and now you see like ice crystals literally coming out of the Buster Sword itself. That's an amazing effect, and if you look closely, you can even see the enemy has ice crystals kind of coming out of his nose and even off of his arm after he is struck with this attack. So it's little details like that that I think is going to make this game as much fun to watch as it is going to be to play. You will not have a bored significant other while you're watching Final Fantasy VII Remake. We learned a little bit more about burst attacks, and that is going to be the gauge beneath the enemy's HP gauge. It will increase as you attack, and when it's filled, the enemy will enter burst state. In this state, the enemy will be unable to take action and will take more damage than useful, and Cloud has a very useful burst slash ability, and that will easily allow him to fill up the burst gauge and make those enemies very vulnerable. In wait mode, of course, you'll be able to slow things down to a crawl, and one of the things I'm so impressed with is the sheer level of detail. Now you can see cones knocked over in this. You can see that the enemies are just intricately detailed in that moment right before Tifa lands a crushing kick to this guy. There's also little details that I hadn't noticed before. We saw one of the enemies kind of jump on the Cloud, and he was on his back kind of wrestling with it to try to keep it away from attacking. In this one, we see like a tank-like enemy that's actually grabbing a hold of Cloud. And they say there are commands that you can issue to your party members as well, and I'm assuming that this command would be, hey Barrett, get me out of here, a little help please. It's little details like that that's going to make this game just so much more immersive. I've talked previously about the level of music quality in this game and how it picks up and amplifies during boss battles and seamlessly changes in between things. But details like this are just going to make this game so much more impressive. We see not only Ifrit in this scene, just all the each muscle in his body coursing with fire. He's about to land a big blow to the enemy, who's actually like down on the ground in a staggered position, and that's again just adding to the fine details. One of the things that really caught me when you look at this image in particular, it's got the item shop sign, but it even says like, you know, today's special high potions. That's going to just draw you into this thing. Like I think we're just going to lose ourselves in Midgar come March 3rd, and quite honestly not want to leave for a while. So those are my impressions about all the new stuff that's come out here in these new screenshots. There's a bunch more information I'm sure we can gain from it, but this is what I saw. If you saw anything else, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if I got anything wrong, or any help that you can give me would be appreciated. Keep it nice. But those are my thoughts on these new images for Final Fantasy VII Remake, and this has been the JRPG Report.